Now that I've been playing it for about a week, what are my thoughts on Hexblast, and was it a good choice? Well, as you might be able to see from the footage, I'm no longer playing Hexblast. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's a bad choice, so much as I'd say it's a choice that isn't for me. To elaborate a little bit, the amount of damage that Hexblast Elementalist did on very low gear, with just a Martyr of Innocence, was excellent. The quality of life that I was able to get by weaving in things like temporal chains was quite good and worked really well in the Sanctum, and the defenses were solid with Progenesis. So overall, it was a pretty good League start build. But there was one really big problem that started to annoy me over the past couple days and ultimately drove me to switch. That is, you need a target, plus that target needs to be cursed. Now, I could maybe have gone full meme and pushed the radius of my blasphemy off the edge of my screen. Or maybe I could have just decided I don't want to cast towards the edge of my screen. After all, it's not like Wave of Conviction needs to. But somehow, being able to cast from where I am and knowing where Wave of Conviction goes feels a lot less bad than trying to cast Hexblast and just not having anything happen, or watching a single sad beam jump down from the sky instead of a massive screen-wide explosion. This was further compounded by the annoyance of not being able to precast. If you know enemies are spawning, and especially if you're a build like Wave of Conviction whose skill has a duration, you can set some up ahead of time. The enemies will spawn directly in your damage and die instantly. This isn't possible for Hexblast because, like I said before, Hexblast requires a target. And so, if you're here just for updates about Hexblast, unfortunately our journey together has come to an end. Because going forward, I'll be playing Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist. However, most of my plans are unchanged. I did swap a couple items here and there, but largely it is the same build, and largely it is the same gear. And so, if Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist does sound interesting to you, or you just want a really solid build and don't mind changing your main skill, get ready to follow along, since hopefully over the next couple days I'll have some time to farm, and I'll be able to gear the character out. If that does interest you, be sure to get subscribed, and while you're down there, leave a like on the video because that's a great way to help me out, and it's completely free. And get ready for a Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist, or maybe even Occultist showcase, though I'm kind of doubting that Occultist is the play here, given just how powerful elemental curses are at this time. Now I did say that a lot of things are the same, but what did I change? The main thing I changed is dropping Martyr. It's not that it's a bad weapon. For the budget, it's an excellent weapon. However, I don't really need fire damage anymore. The main reason to use Martyr for the Battle Mage was so that a majority of my Hexblast damage was fire. Now, a majority of my Wave of Conviction damage will just be fire because it's Wave of Conviction and it automatically converts its damage to fire. Plus, if you need more conversion, don't worry, there's a Fire Mastery for that. It's really easy and it prevents any issues from not having enough fire damage. Another thing that's really nice about Wave of Conviction is it has a billion tags, including 3 damage type tags, fire, physical, and lightning, which means it's really easy to scale the gem level, such as through awakened added fire damage or awakened burning damage. This also means that you could be that weirdo with a fire damage amulet that has +1 lightning skill gems, and it'll scale Wave of Conviction totally fine. But it gets better. Since Wave of Conviction is base Fizz, I'm now able to add Hatred as a second damage aura, something which I wouldn't have been able to do before using Hexblast. And now, I'm sure there's one other question you have. You got rid of Martyr, but what did you replace it with? Well, if you didn't already guess from the explosions on screen, I replaced it with an Obliteration. Or, more accurately, I replaced it with an Obliteration main hand, Sappho's Frame offhand. I wanted extra elemental defenses, plus having 4% max chaos res certainly doesn't hurt anything. I swapped out Purity of Elements, since I could run an additional offensive aura, in favor of Storm Shroud. As long as I'm immune to shock, I'll be completely immune to all elemental ailments. Though in some of the footage you might notice me getting shocked, because I forgot to double check all of my mods, and I actually had something like 95%. Don't worry, that's been fixed. As long as I'm reasonably nearby enemies, something that I should be doing all the time to Wave of Conviction them, Singularity adds a nice chunk of damage, plus a little flat lightning helps make up for the fact that we lost a ton of flat by swapping off of Martyr. Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist is a build I'm somewhat familiar with, and it's a really damn strong one. If you wanted to play this right from the start, then it's a good build. If you want to keep going on the Hexblast route, I do think Hexblast will have more than enough damage to do all content, including Uber bosses, though, like always, that will require higher investment. But ultimately, it's not damage or defenses that I care about when I'm going into a build. It's quality of life. Because you can always fix damage and defenses with money, but if your skill feels bad to play, it's really a tough sell for me. I don't regret playing Hexblast. Overall, I've still had a good league start, I've been able to progress smoothly, and I've made quite a bit of currency. And speaking of making currency, do stay tuned. In the near future, I'm going to be talking about what I've been doing to make money, my Atlas strategy if you will, and just how much currency I've been pulling out of a sanctum. Because trust me, however much you think it is, it's probably more. That reminds me, what have you been getting from your sanctums? Do you feel particularly rewarded? And would you like to see a video explaining the mechanics of Hexblast, even though I'm no longer playing it as part of my build? Be sure to leave all of those thoughts down in the comments below. And of course, before I go, a special thanks to my patrons and channel members for the continued support. For as low as $1 a month, you can help make videos just like this one possible. So if you want to see what's going on with the meta in 3.19, maybe you're looking for another build to play, or you're feeling broke and want to make some money, get subscribed, while you're down there leave a like, and if you want to continue the conversation, hop into Discord. Or if you just want something else to watch, there's going to be a recommendation on screen right now, and I have all of my other Hexblast videos in the resources, so you can check those out, along with a couple of videos on Wave of Conviction Ignite that will either be in the card in the top right or down in the description below. But that's all for me today. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you again sometime soon.